the singer upstairs every Thursday, and sometimes on Saturdays, Caleb drove 5 hours from his small rented room in the city to a remote hotel tucked in the hills of an old fog-drenched town. The drive was long and winding, and the final leg of the journey took him past forests that grew too close to the road, their gnarled branches arching overhead like ancient sentinels. The hotel, the Hartwell Inn, stood at the edge of a cliff, built like an old manor with white columns and ivy-covered walls. Despite its remote location, the inn had a peculiar charm that drew guests looking for quiet and nostalgia. Caleb had been hired to sing at its intimate dining lounge, a warmly lit space where guests sipped brandy under low chandeliers while listening to jazz and classic ballads. For 2 years, this routine defined Caleb's weeks. He would arrive in the afternoon, set up his equipment, perform between 7 and 10 p.m., and then drive back to the city if he wasn't too tired. The money was good, and the manager, Mr. Holloway, always greeted him with a warm smile and a stiff drink. The guests applauded politely, some even requesting songs. Caleb loved the way the old upright piano complemented his voice, smooth, deep, a little sorrowful. The acoustics of the room were perfect. But one Thursday night in early autumn, something changed. He had just finished his second set and launched into a slow, haunting rendition of Autumn Leaves. As he reached the chorus, Caleb heard something. It wasn't the usual feedback or ambient hum of the hotel's aging speakers. It was a voice, a harmony, soft, feminine, echoing his lines perfectly, but no one else was holding a mic. His hands faltered on the piano keys. He glanced around the lounge. A few heads were bowed in conversation. One couple slow danced near the fireplace. No one seemed to notice the voice but him. He sang the next verse deliberately, and again the harmony floated in, barely a breath behind him. It wasn't a recording, it was live, present. The song ended. Applause filled the lounge, and Caleb nodded, forcing a smile. But his heart was racing. He knew music. He knew when a voice was in the room. During the break, he asked the bartender if someone had joined in with him. The bartender laughed. "Unless a ghost wanted a duet, you were on your own tonight." Caleb chuckled uneasily. "Ghost, right?" The next song, the voice came again, softer this time, almost like it was hiding, dipping in and out of his notes. He pretended not to notice, but a cold sweat gathered on the back of his neck. Something or someone was with him. When the performance ended, Caleb packed up quickly, eager to get back to the city. But Mr. Holloway stopped him in the hallway. "You were wonderful tonight," the manager said, his eyes glowing beneath heavy lids. "Really something special." "Thanks," Caleb muttered, glancing toward the exit. "I've been meaning to ask," Holloway continued, stepping closer. "We have a guest room upstairs. Used to belong to the original owner. No one uses it. You're welcome to stay here, Caleb. It's a long drive. You shouldn't have to do it every week." Caleb hesitated. He thought of the voice, the strange harmony, the coldness in the air when he performed. But it was a long drive, and it would save him gas money. "All right," he said. "Just for the night." The room was lovely, if a bit too vintage. Floral wallpaper, an antique vanity, and a large bay window that faced the cliffside. Holloway left him a bottle of wine and disappeared down the hallway. That night, Caleb didn't sleep. The room was silent, but not comfortably so. It was the kind of silence that buzzed under your skin. At around 3 a.m., he swore he heard footsteps pacing above him, but there was no floor above this one, only the roof. The next morning, Holloway greeted him with coffee and eggs. "Sleep all right?" he asked with a grin. "Yeah," Caleb lied. "Fine." That evening, Caleb performed again. This time, the voice was louder. It wasn't just a harmony now. It was a partner. She weaved in and out of his melodies, guiding his phrasing, challenging him with runs. It was beautiful, terrifyingly beautiful. After the show, he confronted Holloway. "Has there ever been a singer here before me?" Holloway's smile froze. "Plenty, over the years. But you're the only one in recent memory. Why?" "Just wondering." That night, he stayed in the room again. The voice came in his dreams this time, whispering lyrics he didn't recognize, her tone laced with sadness. When he awoke, the mirror across the room was fogged, and words were scrawled across it as if traced by a fingertip. He said, "I sang too much." Caleb scrambled out of bed, heart thudding. He stared at the message, which faded slowly, as if absorbing back into the glass. He didn't know what to do. He considered leaving, but some compulsion, curiosity, guilt, dread kept him there. He began asking questions quietly around the hotel. Most of the staff were local hires, part-timers, or barely spoke beyond what was necessary. But the housekeeper, an older woman named Elsie, was more forthcoming. "There was a girl once," she whispered, "long before your time. Her name was Annabelle. Young, beautiful. She used to sing here. Same piano, same lounge. She lived upstairs." "What happened to her?" Elsie looked around before answering. "They said she left, but I don't think she ever did. Some say she had a falling out with the owner, got into an argument about her contract or money. Some say he got rough. Then one day she was gone, just like that, no good to trace." Caleb felt sick. That night he didn't perform. He locked himself in the guest room, determined to leave at first light. But the moment he turned off the light, music began to echo faintly from the floor below, the piano playing by itself. And then the voice, Annabelle's voice, lifting in song, melancholic and raw. Compelled, Caleb crept down to the lounge. The chandelier flickered. The piano keys moved, struck by invisible fingers. In the shadows, a figure stood near the fireplace. A woman in a long 1950s-style dress, her hair curled, eyes vacant. She turned slowly, locking eyes with Caleb. "Will you sing with me?" she whispered. He ran. Upstairs, he threw everything into his bag. But as he reached the hallway, Holloway was standing there, waiting. His smile was gone. "You saw her," he said. Caleb said nothing. "You should have just sung, Caleb. That's all she ever wanted, someone to sing with." "She's trapped," Caleb said, voice shaking. "She didn't leave. You did something." Holloway's eyes narrowed. "I gave her everything, and she wanted more. Fame, freedom. She would have ruined me." "You killed her." "I kept her here," he said, "like I kept you." Caleb backed away. Holloway moved closer. But then the air shifted, grew icy cold. The lights flickered again. And from behind Holloway, a soft, vengeful voice began to hum. Annabelle's song. Holloway turned, startled. No, not now." The chandelier above creaked violently. Caleb dove aside as it crashed to the floor, right where Holloway had stood. When the dust settled, Holloway was gone, nothing left but silence. Caleb didn't wait. He ran from the inn, out into the cold night, and didn't stop driving until the morning sun rose behind his city skyline. He never returned to the Hartwell Inn. No one answered when he called. When he reported the incident, police found the hotel deserted, abandoned, as if no one had stayed there in years. But sometimes late at night, Caleb dreams of a voice, a harmony he'll never forget, a duet he never wanted, and a singer who still waits upstairs.